To start off, our question to you this evening, as the ANC is hosting a Liberation Movement Summit in Johannesburg this weekend, do you think that liberation movements across the African continent are still relevant? Send us your thoughts on voice note. Our number on WhatsApp is 078 or +278, in fact, 459 1897. You can also find us on Facebook, SABC, Unwrap Africa, and on X, SABC News _TV. Well, let's have a look at the biggest stories from the continent this week. So rescue efforts are continuing after a gold mine collapsed in eastern Congo. Dozens of people are feared trapped underground at an unstable Lemera site in South Kivu. The World Food Programme will suspend food aid for about 1.3 million people in northeast Nigeria. Amid a funding crisis, supplies have run out during peak hunger season in the conflict-hit region. Widows of fallen soldiers are fleeing Goma in the DRC after M23 fighters took over the area, demanding aid in Beni. Displaced by conflict, women have been protesting harsh conditions as well as what they say is a lack of support for the families of dead soldiers. A cholera outbreak is worsening in Sudan. Over 91,000 cases have been reported and about 2,300 deaths have already been recorded. The health system's collapse has fueled the outbreak, which has now spread across 17 states. Rights groups are demanding the release of Niger's detained former President Mohamed Bazoum. He's been held without trial since a coup in 2023. And lastly, Somali artist Masla Abdi Dahir has sparked a creative movement, I should say, in Mogadishu through training youth to challenge stigma as well as imagine a peaceful future through painting. Well, linked to our question to you tonight, the Liberation Movement Summit hosted by the ANC is underway in Kempton Park. It's brought together the ANC from South Africa, ZANU-PF from Zimbabwe, the CCM from Tanzania, Frelimo from Mozambique, and MPLA from Angola. That's just among others. So the gathering is basically taking place as the world is grappling with various challenges and crises. Some of the parties are under immense pressure in their home countries to deliver on the promises they made even at liberation level. Kylie Kumalo reports.
A critical moment as liberation movements are having candid assessment about the state of affairs in their countries. The key goal is to reconnect with people and tackle pressing issues such as economic development, gender equality and youth empowerment in Southern Africa.
The message is to come closer. Oh, not only closer, but to come together with the people so that the people may give you their views and you must listen and judge. Not that all the time the majority is right. They may not be always right.
But other global issues like the current situation in Palestine have taken center stage here. This also forms part of global solidarity with the oppressed people.
The second message to our comrades, brothers, you South Africans, that we are there. We will not give up. We will not surrender. The steadfastness, the resilience, the determination for us is a genetic. We are there and we will remain there and we will not give up. We will not surrender.
Western Sahara has appealed to AU member states to put pressure on Morocco to stop the occupation of its territories.
I will not comment on Jacob Zuma visit, but I will certainly comment on the semi-autonomous proposal of Morocco. Proposal of Morocco is a sort of internal autonomy. It's less than the Bantustan. You know, the apartheid have presented those plan of self-rule and autonomy, which they call them Bantustan. Well, the Bantustans of apartheid, actually they have a diplomacy and they have a defense force. The Bantustan Morocco is offering for the Western Sahara is worse. It doesn't have none.
The ANC says it's absolutely key for the young people to be part of these discussions.
We consciously included young people. They've had 3 sessions prior to today. They are going to present here today, and they are also going to be the ones who are going to map the way forward and affirm the minimum program of the liberation movement. We have deliberately said they have that responsibility, so they will be the ones who will be the only ones given an opportunity to make comments about the way forward in the form of the declaration.
A number of leaders are expected to attend sessions on Sunday to deliberate on key issues facing the region and the world. Khayelihle Khumalo, SABC News, Kempton Park.
Former President Thabo Mbeki says that he made a call for the national dialogue that's happening in August during celebrations of 30 years of democracy in response to repeated calls by UDM leader Bantu Holomisa.
That South Africa in 2024 would have been a great disappointment for many of them. And therefore, that what I needed to say is to repeat what Bantu Holomisa had been saying. That's why I then said, therefore, given what has been happening over these last 30 years, it's time for a national dialogue. As Bantu had been calling for that. And a genuine national dialogue. I mean genuine national dialogue because we have people here like Thembekile Mrototo who say that he represents the people. So why must the people speak? He speaks on their behalf. So I was saying no. Let the people get together. Let the women of the country and the youth, the traditional leaders, the healers, the artists, the sports people, even Rod Marawa must be part of the process. To say, this is the South Africa we want, this is the South Africa we don't want. And let the people speak and say that. Answer those 2 questions. So that's the call I made. Let's have a national dialogue.
There were many plots, but through all that turbulence, we survived. As a country, we are trying, all of us. But I must say, we are showing signs that our democratic foundation needs strengthening. Somewhere along the way, our agenda has been hijacked. The question we must now ask is, how do we fix it? We have the Constitution, the laws are in place, but something is missing. As a military person, I can tell you what we are lacking is discipline, patriotism, and cohesion as a nation.
That's Bantu Holomisa, Deputy Minister for Military, Veterans and the Defence Force in South Africa, speaking at his 70th birthday, as was the former President Thabo Mbeki. So we've been asking you today to comment on whether liberation movements on the continent are still relevant. And we spoke earlier to SABC News international editor Sophie Mokoena, who's attending the Liberation Movement Summit underway in Kempton Park.
We are coming live from Kempton Park, where the liberation organizations will converge. As we saw earlier on, the arrival of the president of Namibia, who is also the president of SWAPO. She is going to participate in this all-important meeting. We saw the president of the ANC last night hosting his counterparts who will be at this meeting in their capacities as leaders of the liberation organizations. We know that there are many issues to discuss, particularly when you look at the state of the region, the southern part of Africa. There are many challenges, and therefore there's hope that the leaders will be honest and discuss these concerns. When you look at the response, particularly from the social media, the citizens of this region, that is the southern part of Africa, are saying that yes, political liberation, but what about the economic liberation? You know that many countries are facing challenges. You look at what's happening in South Africa. Many people are saying we don't have jobs. We are looking for employment. We can't get employment. There's poverty. There are issues of service delivery. And therefore, this is a moment for these leaders to be honest and frank about the challenges facing the southern part of Africa, but also the continent and the world. We know that two veterans will be part of this gathering today. The former president of Mozambique and the former president of Frelimo, Joaquim Chissano, who came here on Friday and yesterday. We today also expect the former president of the ANC, Thabo Mbeki, the former president of South Africa, to be amongst these delegates. And I think the two leaders, with their experience and them having nothing to lose because they are not in office, will be able also to make a contribution, particularly discussing in an honest and frank manner challenges facing the continent. For more, watch SABC News. But for Unwrap Africa, that's all what we have for you.
And let's see how you've been responding to that question on the relevance of liberation movements on the African continent. Let's see those comments that have already come in. Wilson Shoga says, it's an interesting question. Liberation movements played a huge role in shaping Africa's history. As to them still holding relevance today, I don't think so. Let's bring you one more if we can. This one here, roping in Grok for assistance to respond. But anyway, Shaleshipas John says we have ZANU-PF and the ANC as political parties that purport to be liberation movements. He says, are they still relevant considering that many citizens in sister countries like South Africa and Zimbabwe? Well, that's gone away. Let's see here. Fixinbambi says not at all. They're now turned up to be criminal organizations that are clearly playing against the poor, voters, and their country's citizens. More specifically, he says the ANC, all they do is self-serving and oppressors of the black majority. That's from Figile Mbambi. Lee Taylor says, great question. Their short takes on this liberation movement's evolve, but their core fight for justice stays relevant. Tuning in at 8 o'clock to Unwrap Africa. Felina Dube says liberation is a mirage. They used to keep the masses hoping. And also as a reminder that the comments are not the views of SABC News or the team on Unwrap Africa, but the views of our viewers. And we hope you will keep them coming this evening. Much more still ahead for you when Unwrap Africa continues.
Authentic, unbiased, and on the ground. I'm Ulrich Hendricks in Kimberley, Northern Cape, and this is SABC News, independent and impartial.
Welcome back to Unwrap Africa. We've got a musical treat for you this Sunday evening. Selaelo Selota is a renowned jazz musician, singer and songwriter who's well known right across the African continent, in fact, a career spanning over 25 years this year. He's known for blending traditional sounds with modern elements that incorporate Sepedi, in particular, into his music. Selota's impressive performances and emotive storytelling have earned him numerous awards, including the South African Music Award for Best Contemporary Jazz Album, to name but a few. And he is our guest today on Unwrap Africa. We're fortunate enough to have you in studio with us this evening. And as I was saying, 25 years in the industry this year, and you are taking the celebration on the road.
Yes.
What are your core reflections 25 years into the game?
I think most of them were based on the stage when I was performing, invited by other people, and they were based on the time slot that I was given, But now I think I have not. Through that we didn't reach a certain point, whereby now in 25 years I decided I'm going to take this on my own, and the time is mine. I'm giving myself time. If it's about 2 hours, it will be 2 hours. If it's 3 hours, it's 3 hours, and I'll take it across the country. So I must say, I have had amazing 25 years. And
in that 25 years, how would you say your artistry has evolved and the industry itself? I mean, for instance, I'm thinking off the top of my head, we're no longer talking about selling CDs now. People are more digital. And you were there when our parents were buying cassette tapes to where we are now.
I can tell you that my latest album is on CD, which was released last year, February. So I'm still selling CDs. And if they say they need cassettes, I would go and print and produce cassettes, because I know I'm going to go producing vinyl now. So through the 25 years, I've been part of, I've just kept myself within the changes, the developments that are happening. But the lifeblood of all these years has been live performance for me. That has been my core. It has CDs, I see them, but live performance has been my core.
And your live performances are highly regarded. The word electrifying is often used to describe your presence and what you do on stage. You've also been able to take it across our borders, am I right, to other parts of the continent. How would you say you were received there?
I can say that I still believe that there are countries that have not discovered me. Like, for instance, when I first performed in Canada in 2003, 2024, I was called back again to do during my US tour. And then when I arrived at Doval Airport, the posters were moving all the way from the airport, and the headline was the discovery of 2003, meaning, in Canada, I was voted the discovery artist at the Montreal Festival in Canada. So I mean, I don't think many countries have experienced me. I've been to the US, the Europe, and the Canada so far.
And Africa?
Africa, it has been very much minimal. I performed once in Zimbabwe. I performed once in Zanzibar, and once in DRC. So
maybe we can get you then in this 25-year celebration to go to other parts of the continent.
First, I need to do it here in South Africa. I need to fully take myself and celebrate throughout the country, and that's what the purpose of the Selaelo Selota 25 tour is all about.
And you've got a show coming up, in fact, at Empress Palace, I think on the 23rd of August it is.
Yes.
I was looking earlier, one of the people joining you on stage is another great name in the music industry, Judith Sepuma.
Yes.
Your stories are intertwined.
Yes.
Speak to us about how you've gone into crafting that and her presence with you on stage on that day.
The thing is that I feel that what has been heard on record in her performances, there's a lot that people did not experience. For instance, I started performing with Judith way before we became recording artists. And we went abroad. We went to my first European tour in France in 1997. I had brought Judith there as the lead singer and as well as a backing singer in my band, Selaelo Selota and Daula. So I know that there is this part that has never been experienced, except that I produced her albums, wrote music for her, but on stage, that has never been experienced. And this is what people are going to be seeing, because I know how to press those buttons and bring out what I believe that hasn't been experienced.
And just on that note, I mentioned coming into our conversation that you're also revered for your use or incorporation of Sepedi and storytelling through your lyrics. How deliberate have you been about that?
I have been very, very, very deliberate about that, because as artists, as musicians, we're actually writing a story about ourselves. We're actually telling about our experiences, how we experience life and how we see it. We are actually using music to be part of the commentary when we have to comment about the things that are happening in our country, be them socio-political, be them any type of thing that we want to express. It's true, you can find it in our music. So storytelling was brought about by the fact that I used to be that young boy who sits around the fireplace and listens to stories too much. So it became, it's such a natural thing for me.
Thank you so much for coming in, Selaelo Selota. I'm sure many people will see you at Empress Palace on the 23rd of August. And that is our musical guest here on Unwrap Africa. A bit of a treat for you if jazz and African music are your thing, as we continue, by the way, to celebrate, as we always say, the many successes of our continent. This is Unwrap Africa.
Mrototo needs
car insurance.
Oh, got you a great deal. Just sign.
Don't settle for one quote. Rather, compare 12.
I can find better.
Visit hippo.co.za.
Before we go, a look back at the question again from tonight. What are your thoughts on liberation movements on the African continent? Are they still relevant? More comments have come in the last while. Sokulu says, no, liberation movements are holding us back now. They've played a good part. It's time for us to have a direction as a country. All countries led by former liberation movements in Africa are directionless, according to Sokulu, and stagnant economically. He says we can't afford to have the ANC anymore. Law student Future CJSA says no, but we need new liberation movements to liberate us from thieves who've liberated us from apartheid. Senate Funaman says, I agree, most often leaders of liberation movements are not good democratic leaders after liberation. Kenneth Shezi saying the problem is not deviation, the problem is those so-called liberation movements don't condemn each other. Simi N says the whole of Africa must remove so-called liberation movements. They all have nothing more to offer except to sell out to Africans. And that's the last thought we'll take on the subject this evening. Well, we're going to shift gears slightly. Our producer, Nonhlanhla Mthembu, has gone out again this week, this time visiting Afropolitan Casuals in Sandton. That's where she got to experience the vibrant colors and uniqueness of African fashion. Take a look.
African fashion is known for elegance, bold colors, intricate patterns, and stunning designs. Afropolitan celebrates the diversity and richness of African cultures.
This one is perfect for winter. Wow, you see, this is you can't find this in any other shop. We have for men, we have for women, and we are talking with our designers for children as well.
They have a collection of clothing and footwear supplied from across the continent.
So this is Senegal, yeah. Our clothes come from East Africa, West Africa, and we're still talking with other parts of Africa. As you can see, we have a couple of collections.
We had an opportunity to try on some of their beautiful items.
Oh wow, thank you. I see, it's beautiful. You look gorgeous. No, Africa is beautiful. Yes, Africa is beautiful. Thank you. It's called Otto because it's done already. That's why we call it. So okay. This one is easy. You just take it and feed it. So you don't have to waste it. Yeah, Otto-gele. Oh, you don't have to wait the whole time to make it. Yeah. So it's already done. So it's called Otto-gele. I'm encouraging African women to be bold. You're beautiful. Be confident and appreciate yourself, and try work with other African women so that we'll grow. Even with the Western world, they're developing with Africa, with our resources. So if they are developing their countries with our resources, why can't we be proud of what we have? We should be proud of what we have and showcase what we have. What we have, we can find it everywhere. We are rich in culture, we are rich in everything that you can think of.
And on that fashionable note, that's our show for this week. Unwrap Africa returns at 8 p.m. next Sunday here on SABC News Channel 404. You can also catch up with all our previous programs on SABC+. I'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.